The rain poured mercilessly that night, streaking against the windows of the luxurious penthouse as if the heavens themselves were crying for her. Amelia sat on the edge of the bed, one hand resting on her swollen belly, the other gripping the divorce papers that had just been slid across the table by the man she thought would love her forever. Her husband, Ethan, stood before her, cold, distant, unrecognizable. His once warm eyes that used to shine with affection now looked at her as if she were a stranger. "I can't do this anymore," he said flatly, his voice void of remorse. And just like that, with the flick of a pen, he ended their marriage. No apology, no explanation, just the sound of raindrops and the shattering of Amelia's world. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of life to turn pain into purpose, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Royal Stories, where real emotions come to life every day. Amelia had met Ethan 5 years earlier when she was a rising software engineer at a small AI startup. Ethan was charismatic, confident, and a successful venture capitalist who swept her off her feet. They had what everyone thought was a fairy tale romance, lavish vacations, endless laughter, and dreams that stretched beyond the stars. But dreams, Amelia would learn, can fade when love turns selfish. As her pregnancy progressed, Ethan began to withdraw. He claimed her career ambitions were too much, that she was obsessed with work, and that he needed space. What she didn't know then was that he had been seeing someone else, a young model who adored his money more than his heart. When he served her divorce papers, Amelia was 8 months pregnant, fragile but not broken. The betrayal cut deeper than any wound, yet even through her tears, something inside her shifted. Maybe it was the baby's soft kick reminding her she wasn't alone. Maybe it was the quiet voice in her soul whispering that this wasn't the end of her story, it was only the beginning. She spent that sleepless night staring at the city lights, her body trembling but her mind burning with resolve. "You left me when I needed you most," she whispered to the empty room. "But you'll see who I become without you." The next morning, Amelia woke up with a fire she hadn't felt in years. Her friend and mentor, Daniel, a brilliant tech entrepreneur, had been working with her on a groundbreaking AI system that could revolutionize digital security for global corporations. She had been the mind behind its algorithm, though Ethan had always belittled her project as a hobby. That morning, she put on her black maternity dress, fixed her hair, and walked, slowly, painfully, into the downtown headquarters of a major tech conglomerate that had requested a meeting with her months ago. She had almost canceled it when Ethan left. But now, she wasn't going to hide from the world anymore. The executives listened as she presented her vision, her voice trembling at first but growing steadier with every word. She spoke not just as a woman in business, but as a creator, a dreamer, and a fighter. When she finished, the room was silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in applause. The CEO stood and extended his hand. "We'll take it," he said. $2 billion. You've just changed the future of cybersecurity." Amelia blinked, unable to believe what she'd heard. The ink on her divorce papers was barely dry, and yet, she had just signed one of the largest tech deals in the world. That night, as she sat by her window again, cradling her belly, she felt peace for the first time in months. She didn't cry this time. She smiled, because life had given her the most powerful revenge, not through hatred, but through success. News of the deal spread like wildfire. Her face was on every magazine cover. The media called her the woman who rose from ashes. And Ethan, he saw it all. Sitting beside his new girlfriend, who suddenly seemed less glamorous when the spotlight faded, he watched the news broadcast showing Amelia shaking hands with global tech leaders. His pride turned to regret. His arrogance turned to shame. And for the first time, he realized what he had thrown away. 2 weeks later, Amelia gave birth to a healthy baby boy she named Leo, a name symbolizing strength. Holding him in her arms, she felt complete. Every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of heartbreak had led to this. But fate wasn't done yet. The very next day, Ethan showed up at the hospital, holding a bouquet of white roses. He begged for forgiveness. He told her he'd made a mistake, that he'd been confused, that he wanted to be part of their child's life. Amelia listened quietly, her face unreadable. In that sterile hospital room, the air hung heavy with irony. Once upon a time, she had begged him to stay. Now, it was his turn to plead. She looked at him, not with anger, but with calm certainty. "You left me when love was a promise," she said softly. "You don't get to come back now that love has become success." He tried to speak, but she turned away, holding Leo closer, her heart steady. Over the next few months, Amelia poured her heart into her company, transforming it into one of the fastest-growing tech empires in Silicon Valley. She became a symbol for women everywhere who had been underestimated, betrayed, or abandoned, and still rose. Her speeches inspired millions. She spoke not of revenge, but of resilience, not of pain, but of power. "You can't control who breaks you," she told audiences. "But you can control who you become after you heal." Ethan, meanwhile, spiraled. His investments crumbled. His new girlfriend left him. He sent letters to Amelia, messages begging for another chance, but she never replied. She had no hatred left for him, just distance. Because some chapters are meant to close forever, no matter how much the past tries to reopen them. Years later, Amelia stood on the stage of an international tech conference, holding Leo's hand as he looked up at her with pride. She had built schools for young coders, launched foundations for single mothers in tech, and rewritten what success looked like. The audience gave her a standing ovation, but she looked not at the cameras, nor at the flashing lights. She looked at her son, her reason for everything. "We did it," she whispered. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Royal Stories, and leave a comment to remind every broken soul that new beginnings are born from the darkest nights.